it's Lauren Cuevas, or it's just they name and stuff like that. It's very
Today. Late night. They're just telling you the time of day.
Ron. Although I have to be honest, I watched the evening news once at a studio, and really these news anchors, God bless them, they seem awesome, but they would read like a paragraph and then sit there and wait for like 2 minutes in silence, looking bored out of their minds.
You should do it. I don't care at this point. I can't control you. I can only control me. I don't think they're going to ask hard questions. They don't want to trick us any more than we want to be tricked, because they want it to look like we all know what we're doing. Yeah, so YouTube blocked it because we used some copyrighted music, so I am working on re-uploading it without that. So sorry. And the live stream is now up. Right now. we still want we still want Lauren to be Lauren. So someone just texted in. Someone just texted in, Brian would make a good squirrel.
and we're giving you a chance to worship with him on Friday, April 19th. Would you like to win tickets to this concert with Brandon and Doe? Good. Then all you have to do is text us, Brandon, to 440-546-2255. That's Brandon to 440-546-2255. Moody Radio is thankful for listeners and support from businesses like Duma Meats and Farm Market. Duma Meats and Farm Market supporting Moody Radio in Cleveland and surrounding areas. More information about Duma Meats and Farm Market is at dumameats.com.
You don't have to put your life on hold to get your degree from Moody Bible Institute. Moody offers flexible online classes that feature a unique ministry-focused education. Study the Bible and theology anytime, anywhere. You'll benefit from the world-respected faculty and a connection with classmates from around the globe. Invest in your future and get your bachelor's or master's degree from Moody Online. Learn more at moody.edu/online. That's moody.edu/online.
How can you teach your kids to uplift and support families with special needs children? Tune in this week as we discuss that exact question with Dr. Andrew Beatty.
Subscribe to the Car Seat Questions podcast on YouTube and every podcast platform. New episodes release every Wednesday.
Keeping your eyes on Jesus in a changing culture can be difficult. Let us help. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
750 WCRF. By the way, we've got this little dessert reception we thought was going to be little with Pastor Josh Moody. It's coming up on April 18th at Bedford Church of the Nazarene. It's a Thursday night. There's dessert. We brought it up a few times, and it's either sold out or almost sold out. Hundreds of people?
Yes, hundreds of people. The first round of people should be getting their notifications today if you've won.
Oh, wow. Okay, so...
I'm waiting for the email to say, we sent the email.
Well, watch your email, and you may or may not be able to get into this thing, I guess. Here, I thought it'd be me eating most of the cheesecake myself.
Stop talking about cheesecake. I don't know if there's going to be cheesecake there. I'm not in charge of the dessert, so.
Oh, yeah. When you say stuff on the radio, it kind of complicates things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Any sort of dessert-type food.
That's right.
Which dessert can
Maybe
be
they're
relative.
What are those little puff pastries with stuff on the inside? You know, like this.
Little cream
Eclairs?
puffs. It depends on what shape they are.
The circles.
The cream puffs.
Cream puffs.
We don't know if there will be.
I don't know.
They'll just be dessert. For more information, text Moody to 440-546-2255. You guys ever encountered a gentle bully?
I don't know.
Lauren's afraid she is one.
No,
Daria?
I did not say that.
I don't know.
Are you afraid that you're a gentle bully?
I don't think so.
Okay.
What is it, like someone who says mean things but in a nice way?
Sort of. Okay, so according to Psychology Today, there are gentle ways to fight and, yes, even bully. Call it intimidation, thuggish behavior that presents as kindly, gentle, and receptive. Since people with more gentle characteristics aren't hulking and loud, their strategies are different. They don't threaten with loud voices and flexed biceps like mine. Their strategy of choice is pulling moral rank, shaming, and blaming. It can be very effective. Many hulking men grew up trying to please their mothers. Many mothers learned to control their unruly boys with disappointment, shaming, and disapproval. Intimidation taps into that vulnerability to shaming. Like that is how sometimes smaller people in stature can intimidate bigger people, is with...
Yeah.
You were agreeing to that.
Yes, I didn't understand what a gentle bully was, but as you were reading, it made sense. I've seen that where people will use shame or, those kind of tactics to control people's actions, try to steer them in a certain direction. And you mentioned the smaller stature. It's tough sometimes being the bigger guy. My brother was bigger than most kids in his class, and you're in a bind where the little guy wants to pick a fight or something. If you fight him, you're looked at as the bully.
Right.
Like, of course you're going to beat him. And if you don't fight him, you're a coward. So, they can play their advantage in ways you wouldn't think.
And so now this person says, how can you tell whether someone is a gentle bully? Here's some signs. One of them is the often used phrase, hey, be nice. As in, we think of niceness, love, kindness, caring, empathy, and compassion as virtues so pure that we rarely bother to think about what these terms mean. They all boil down to accommodating others. To be nice to someone is to accommodate them, to compromise and bend your will towards theirs. Intimidators are quick to say, be nice, as though it's your moral duty to accommodate them. As in, if they don't like what you're doing, let's say you're asserting yourself, right? Maybe you're saying, you just said this and that, and it made me feel, hey, be nice. You've immediately put them on a defensive because you're accusing them of not being nice.
Right.
You're not yelling and screaming. You're like, be nice. Oh, I was being mean. Sorry. Suddenly you shift power. You see? Gentle bully. How about this one? This one, no, this gets me. Calm down.
It's your
Calm
favorite.
down. You want to trigger me? Do that too. Wave your hands. Press your hands down. Brian, calm down. Oh, boy. Why don't you calm down? How about that? I'll show you calm. But no, it's can you see how people can use that to bully? If someone's passionate?
Yeah, because you're making it seem like they're being overdramatic or they're being too much, or you're telling them that their feelings don't matter.
Right. But it sounds virtuous. Yes,
Yeah.
we must be calm here. Calm down. Another one, you talk to somebody and at an extreme, you'll kind of paraphrase what somebody will say. So you say, oh, what you just said to me was X, Y, and Z. And they'll say, I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. They're nitpicking. It's like when I talk to my kids, it's did you just punch your brother? No. Your brother's crying. He's holding his face. You just punch your brother? Nope. You slap him? Nope.
I hit him.
Right. You got to find the right. You're nitpicking to find the right word. And so in this case, you try to paraphrase what someone's saying. No, I didn't say that. Well, but you did though. But I didn't say it. It's not
I didn't
what
say those
said.
exact words.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly they're being a bully. Or somebody can intimidate someone else as a gentle bully by saying, you're just not seeing the whole picture. I'm seeing the whole picture. You're not. So you're wrong. You guys ever encounter people like that?
Yes.
Whoa.
I've never thought of them as bullies, though.
Well, because I think they come across as virtuous, is what this person's point is. They come across as doing it right.
Or sometimes come across as arrogant.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
If they're saying, well, you're not seeing the whole picture. Wait a minute, you are?
Well, but oftentimes, especially if you don't know somebody well, how do you respond to those things? Like, oh, no, I am seeing the whole picture. You're not seeing the whole picture. Now you sound like a 3-year-old. So you said you've encountered this, Lauren?
Yeah, I think I've found it in like dealing with people in business type settings.
In business? Oh, no.
Where you're trying to make yourself feel or look bigger, and you're trying to get your point across or something,
Yeah, can you imagine if you're in like a meeting, right? And you get passionate and someone goes, be nice. You suddenly look foolish in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Or, Lauren, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. Has that happened to you before? You're not a real, rowdy personality to begin with. But
I don't think people have told me to calm down. I don't think that's happened to me in like a work setting.
what happens to you in a personal setting when someone says calm down?
Oh, I get so mad.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to actually explode.
Yeah.
It
It makes
happened to
me
me.
want to not calm down. It makes me want to rage.
I have a vivid memory when I was a new teacher. We were sitting in a circle as social studies teachers, and I got passionate about something. And I heard my name, Brian. And I turn around, and one of my colleagues looks at me and does the hand thing and goes, smiles, calm down. I just about leapt out of my desk and started pounding the wall or something. I was so mad because I felt like they totally ruined everything I just said.
Yeah, it's very patronizing, and
Yeah.
Sometimes the other person doesn't need to calm down. I think there are appropriate uses for that phrase, but not always.
Have you ever been treated this way?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Nothing leaps to mind.
You're also a pretty assertive person, so I don't know that you'd let someone get away with that very well.
I mean, get away with it is like, I mean, you still have to be nice to people. So there is a certain degree of like, you just have to let things go sometimes.
I suppose that's true. I'm more of a people pleaser, so I might succumb to these techniques. You don't strike me as a people pleaser.
Yes and no.
Oh. I was hoping for a better answer.
Life is complex, Brian.
Just kidding. Well, that just about covers the gentle bully idea. It is a thing. I think it's worth considering. I've seen Christians do this on a regular basis. We use like seemingly better spiritual decisions, right? We turn things virtuous that really aren't. And honestly, self-righteousness is what this feels like to me in many respects. What they're talking about, standing on a higher moral ground when you really aren't on one. We're on level playing field at the foot of the cross. It's just about 8 o'clock, time for Ron's News. Believe it or not, we're not too far away from the upcoming Cleveland Leadership Prayer Breakfast and Akron Leadership Prayer Luncheon. And our friend Steve Konzelman is going to stop by to chat a bit more about that. We'll get to him in just a minute.
Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland, WCRF Cleveland, WVMS Sandusky, WVML Millersburg, WVMN Newcastle, WVME Meadville, WVMU Ashtabula, and everywhere with the Moody Radio app or at moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
Former President Trump will not get a change in venue for his upcoming hush money trial. It's 8 o'clock. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. An appeals court did not agree with his lawyer's argument that he cannot get a fair jury in New York in a Monday ruling. The trial is currently set for April 15th. New reporting by the Ohio State Highway Patrol suggests that distracted driving is on the decline in Northeast Ohio. Drivers are reminded that troopers will be out and about this month looking for distracted drivers, as April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. And Pennsylvania State Turnpike officials are warning of a phishing scam that targets Easy Pass holders. The texts appear to be from Pennsylvania Turnpike Toll Services and tells them, account holders, that they have an overdue balance that will result in late fees if they're not paid. The officials say you should not click on that link if you get that kind of message either in a text or email. I'll have sports and weather in just a moment.
You can listen to nonstop Christian music anytime, anywhere, through your phone or mobile device.
Signal processing.
Imagine some of your favorite Christian songs being streamed for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just go to where you get your apps and download the free Moody Radio app. Open up the app, select the Praise and Worship channel, and start listening to your favorite Christian music right here, right now. It's the Praise and Worship channel from Moody Radio.
In sports, the Guardians shut out the White Sox in their home opener 4-0. But Guardians pitcher Shane Bieber is going to need season-ending Tommy John surgery. Ouch. The Pirates cruised past the Tigers 7-4, and the Penguins fell to the Maple Leafs 3-2 in overtime. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. Partly sunny this morning, then mostly cloudy with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. High temperatures in the mid-70s. At last check, we did have cloudy skies in Cleveland, 54 degrees. Akron and Canton, clear and 50 degrees. Ashtabula, clear skies and 49 degrees.
It's time for your Moron Moment.
April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and the folks at the Akron Zoo plan to help raise awareness about its importance. The zoo is teaming with the Summit County Children's Services for Wear Blue Day tomorrow, April 10th. Zoo visitors wearing blue to the zoo that day will receive free admission. AkronZoo.org has all the details. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 8:03. With Moody Radio News, I'm Ron Eastwood.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
This is WCRF. It is 8:07. Our live stream is back up and running after we took it all apart and brought it to Hope Church in Brunswick yesterday. So text live to get reconnected to our live stream, 440-546-2255. And we're going to get the Eclipse coverage back up on YouTube soon. Yeah, copyright stuff. We were just being silly playing like Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra. And
I've never seen YouTube take down 20-second clips of 40-year-old songs before, but this is where we are.
I guess Frank was upset, Daria.
It must have been. But we'll get it back up.
Yeah, it'll be later on today, so have no fear. And joining us now, he comes in every year around this time.
Every year.
And we love to see him. Steve Konzelman is the Northeast Ohio Area Director for the Christian Businessmen's Connection. Welcome back, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for having me in here today, and really honored to be here with some radio stars, but driving in here and you guys are TV stars, it just takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, he's right, Lauren.
We are.
Yeah.
Or will be.
She's pretty gussied up today, this one. It's one of my favorite
blazer,
phrases.
wow.
Yeah. No, yeah. And you did a little extra makeup, I think?
Nope, it's the same as always. But thank you.
Same as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so I wasn't nervous at all before coming in, and then when I heard you guys are on TV, I was like, oh no, what am I going to do?
In case you missed it, 10 a.m. today on New Day Cleveland, Lauren and I will be on the show on TV. I'll be the red-colored person from my sunburn. I'll be very red. Sorry. I didn't mean to get burned.
I had to adjust your color correction. You're that red. You looked too orange today.
And earlier, what you tried to do is encourage me, Daria, by saying, you're not that red. It's better today.
No, it is better, but it's still very orange.
I'll just be...
Yesterday was pretty rough. When you walked in, I was like, whoa.
Well, then you guys removed the tent
Yoinks.
from over me at the eclipse, and so suddenly I got eclipse sun rays all over me. It's like
yeah,
more.
so you could see the eclipse. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm going to somehow sneak in, Steve, that I'm a walking PSA for sunscreen.
All right.
On Fox 8 today at 10 a.m. But that's not why you're
be
here.
too hard.
No, it will not be too hard. People will figure it out, I think. So for those who don't know, what is the Christian Businessmen's Connection?
Really, we're an organization that started in 1930 to help men find their identity in something greater than their work, but then a greater purpose through their work. And so really want to reach a businessman right where he is to help him become the man God's created him to be. And so really we're about evangelism, discipleship in the marketplace, and I kind of help equip men to do the works of ministry.
Now, what got you into that? Because you said the 1930s. I don't think you're that old.
No.
So how did you get connected to that concept?
I was a business major, and then I got back into came back into the marketplace. And while I was in the marketplace, I was kind of doing some ministries, marketplace ministry things. And then I was just volunteering doing that. And then there was an opening that came up with the area director for CBMC. And they reached out to me and said, hey, you're actually doing a lot of this stuff for free. Would you actually want to come on staff with us? And I had made a bunch of changes through my life. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do this. I go and talk to my wife, and she's like, Steve, man, we're just starting to get financially set again. She's like, you want to go back into ministry? I was like, yeah, well, it seems like a great gig. And she's like, well, let me pray about it. And she comes back to me like 3 days later. She said, I was praying about it. I asked the Lord, what did you make Steve to do? And she comes back and she said, let me ask you a question. If you won the lottery and you could do any job you wanted to do, what would you do? I said, I don't know. She's like, here's what I think you'd do. I think you'd meet with guys for breakfast, encourage them with their life and their faith, challenge them in it. You do the same thing at lunchtime. You would do more of this group. I was doing this thing called Renew Akron to get speakers, to encourage people to honor God in the marketplace, and like a volunteer thing. And she said, I bet you would do more with that, and you'd probably get some bigger speakers in, and you'd probably play more golf. She goes, is that right? I go, that's pretty close. She goes, well, it seems to me they're paying, they would pay you to do all this stuff. Maybe not the golf, but all the other stuff. And I was like, wow. I was like, I think you got discernment, And so I just said,
God bless
hey.
your wife.
Yeah, and I just said, you know what? How about I'll put my name in the ring. If they take me, we'll say it's God's will. And 8 years later, I'm still here. And I love it. It's been awesome.
What a testimony from your wife, too. Mm-hmm. What a story that the partnership you have. I love that. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you the mission of what you're doing to help people not be identified by their work. That's an uphill climb. I mean, it's a conscious effort. I mean, even for me working in ministry, like I don't want to be defined by what I do because it's fleeting, especially in the kind of work that I do. To be honest with you, people forget my name within a week of me leaving this place, whenever that is. Hopefully no time soon, if my boss is listening. A long time, I hope we'll never experiment with that. But all that to say, like, how do we even begin that journey of not letting ourselves be defined by our work?
it starts by being defined by who Christ says I am, and that my life verse is Ephesians 2:10. For you're God's masterpiece, created in Christ Jesus to do good works which God has planned in advance for you to do. And I just I always think about that. Like God has a plan for me with the gifts that I've been given. There's been times in my life I'm like, man, I wish I was as smart as this guy, or as good looking as you, or whatever those kind of things are.
Stop.
had the leadership skills.
That's why I'm on TV.
That's right. But and ultimately, I remember just feeling like, okay, but God's given me just enough to do what He wants me to do, and I can be okay with that. And I try to encourage our guys, hey, whether you're you don't have to be you're not a some people feel like, well, I'm not Christian enough because I'm not a pastor like my pastor. Well, God's got a plan for you on the 6th floor of your business or wherever He's planted you. And we just need to honor and be faithful, and at the end to say, right, well done, good and faithful servant.
Yeah, it's a measure of contentment I think a lot of folks long for. But you're right, you can only find it when you're giving your heart to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds cheesy to people who don't get it, but when you devote your heart to your work, suddenly that becomes where your heart is.
Right. And then the other piece that we try to do is just give them a bigger vision for their work. Like, okay, make the very best widgets that you can, serve people the best that you can, but at the same time, you have an opportunity to connect with people. You have a platform to reach people, to share the good news with people. That there's guys that people are working with that they're never going to go into a church. But they're going to rub shoulders with you, and they're actually going to see the church, right? And so that's kind of what we encourage them to do, and we give them some tools in that as well.
Well, that's so accurate. I think oftentimes that's where people will be exposed to the church is by God's people, being out in the marketplace, as you call it, doing those very things. And so each year, I know we get excited to talk with you. Again, we're hanging out with Steve Konzelman. He's Northeast Ohio area director for the Christian Businessmen's Connection. They have their upcoming prayer breakfast and luncheon.
Mm-hmm.
The breakfast is in Cleveland. The lunch is in Akron. We're going to talk more in detail about that in just a minute. But it's an annual event where you could actually bring folks to a professional environment with a powerful speaker, and there's food. I mean, what person wouldn't show up to that?
There you go.
We'll have some information for you, but you can now, if you want to get signed up early, text the word PRAY to 440-546-2255. Text PRAY to 440-546-2255. We'll send you back a link to all the details, and we'll talk to Steve more about the big events here in just a minute.
Making assumptions is rarely a good idea. That's true when it comes to thinking healthcare costs can't be affordable. Christian Healthcare Ministries has been helping believers meet their healthcare needs for over 40 years. It's not insurance, it's a ministry. Visiting chministries.org/Moody eliminates assumptions and shows how this unique model has worked to meet the healthcare needs of hundreds of thousands of Christians. Get more information and have your questions answered at chministries.org/Moody.
Blessed are the pure in heart, not externally pure or self-righteous. This beatitude Jesus spoke completely flipped the religious establishment upside down. Today, many believe if you do good enough, you might get into heaven or gain inner peace. But it's all accomplished by you. The Bible says our best deeds are but filthy rags before God. Only God can make you pure through His Son, Jesus Christ. Think about that today.
Join the conversation by call or text at 440-546-2255.
Mornings with Brian.